Today is story time. I'm going to tell you a story about the bizarre way Jim handled the selling of our trailer. It was suspicious, underhanded, and I honestly think it was illegal. I ended up doing a very deep dive and full investigation into it. I'm really proud of it, and I want to tell you all about it. It involves burner phone, Wi-Fi alerts that link to dark web activities of Jim's at our house. It involves all kinds of scary stuff, shady stuff, and I'm glad you're here. I'm Sarah Wilder. This is Surviving the Man I Married, part 30A. Okay, so you remember in the last video, I talked about how I had just left Jim at the first week of July and we were beginning to work out who's going to do what where. I'm in California, he's in Utah. We're selling our townhome, our truck, our trailer, our furniture, and just lots and lots of household stuff. We were married for 39 years and we had some great stuff. And Jim was handling the sale. Well, the planning that it took to decide and divide and strategize took longer than it actually worked out. It was less than a week of cooperation, less than a week of no chaos, and I had to block Jim. His text messages were deranged. His phone calls couldn't stay on topic. He rambled. He switched personalities. I've talked about that before. He switched personalities. It was exhausting. It was a new toxic pattern of malicious content. And yes, I'm referring to my notes because this story gets my blood boiling. And then I lose focus and I have to hit pause 100 times. Okay, let's dive in. Let's dive in. Okay, we had a Jayco trailer. Let me see, I think it's 24 feet long. It was a J Feather. It was a lightweight one. Beautiful trailer in pristine condition. Jim surprised me with this trailer out of the blue. So I'm giving you context. Out of the blue in August 2017. I just know he puts me in the truck, says, let's go look at travel trailers. And we go buy this trailer. August 2017, Reno, Nevada. The first strange thing about the trailer, I'll tell you, is he never registered it after that day. Moved from Reno to Utah, never registered it. Years and years, 5 years have gone by, and now we're sitting here right now, and he's sold it. And I'm going to tell you why it's so weird. But that registration thing, he was a cop for 27 years, and this is the first time he's let anything of ours go without being registered. Shady. Okay, so it's now July 27th. This is important. So hang with me on the dates and stuff. It's important to the story structure. It is Wednesday, July 27th. I'm sitting out on the back patio. My son-in-law is there. We're hanging out in the outdoor living space. I pretty much live on their back patio until it gets to about 105, and then I go inside. So Jim had been blocked, like I told you, for all this horrible communication stuff. And I told him I was going to block him, so he knew. Well, my son-in-law got an urgent social media message from Jim saying he urgently had to talk to me. So I unblocked him and I called him. I put him on speakerphone, and son-in-law Alex stayed with me throughout the whole bizarre call. Immediately, Jim launched into this convoluted story about selling the trailer to a dealership up in Kaysville, and he needed my permission because, as our lawyer had told us, pretty much everything was community property. And as we sold things, we needed to put it in the bank and then divide the money evenly when we were ready to. So he wanted my permission to sell the trailer. I would have gladly given him permission if he had sold it for what I listed it for. Just that same morning, and he didn't know, I don't think, I listed it for a lower price of $20,500. It was well worth it. It was worth a couple thousand more than that, but I wanted it sold. So he was not selling it to the dealership in Kaysville for $20,500. He was getting $14,000 for it. $2,000 less than what we even owed. I absolutely refused to agree. I said, no, that's ridiculous. And why? Why are you in such a rush? We're splitting the money. He was manic. He was chaotic. He was irrational. Jim was unable to answer even the most basic questions of why? Why today? Why that amount? I'm looking at my notes. Why did you choose that dealership? Where's this coming from? It's advertised online. I'm getting some traffic on it. This is coming out of the blue, the clear blue yonder. And also, this was, like I said, Wednesday the 27th, which is important because guess what? the 4-day yard sale, which is low key. It's not open all day for 4 days. It's, evening hours, a soft 4-day yard sale starting the very next day. So Jim could have had that trailer parked on the cul-de-sac for the next couple of days, or at least on Saturday and Sunday, maybe 2 of those days, and sold it. The man could sell ice to Eskimos. He was great at garage sales. Our family had a history of garage sales every time we moved. Jim got top dollar. He was so talented at it. So this was not our first rodeo. It was, however, the first time the man literally unraveled on me like a cheap ass sweater. I asked Jim these questions. Jim couldn't answer them. And it was perplexing to me. And I did pepper him with quite a few things because my background is in banking and bookkeeping. I knew all about loans. I knew all about stuff like this. And I wanted to see the documentation. And the more questions I asked, the more I pushed, the more upset and the more chaotic and the more, I guess he devolved. He devolved into almost like a child. He could not verbally answer a single question. So he broke off our conversation when he said the dealership was calling him ostensibly to offer him more, because he also said, well, while we were talking, I texted the salesman and told him what you said. You needed a minimum of $16,000 to at least pay off the loan, and he's getting in touch with me. That all turned out to be false, and I'll tell you why. So Jim hangs up the phone. And, Jim was wrong. I never approved $16,000. Why would I approve an amount $4,500 less than what it was worth and what it was currently advertised for? So anyway, I'm going to pick this back up in the next part. I'm sorry I'm rambling. This subject gets me hot under the collar, hot under the microphone. So please join me for part 30B when I probably get to the point.